This is Mac OS Ken.
Reopening a factory in a still closed city, the EC is in hurry-up mode and catching a glimpse of the Essex Serpent. It is Thursday, the 17th of March, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by SimpliSafe. Get a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring at simplisafe.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. You take care of your home, your car, your family, but what about the intangibles that are you, your mental health and well-being? It's easier than it used to be with BetterHelp. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anybody on camera if you don't want to. My last therapist and I would talk on the phone sometimes, but he was really great at the whole text message thing. Just checking in to see how things were going. It was really accessible. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy. As I said before, this show is sponsored by BetterHelp, and macOS Ken listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. BETTERHELP. That's betterhelp.com/macOSKen. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. And thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's show. Well, this happened quickly. Just a couple of days after closing down its factory in Shenzhen, a piece from 9 to 5 Mac says Foxconn has fired the plant back up. Hold on a second, wasn't Shenzhen supposed to be locked down to keep a regional resurgence in COVID cases from spreading? Well, yes. A few days ago, we heard from Apple Insider that with the exception of companies supplying food, fuel, and essential goods or services, all businesses were ordered to close or implement work-from-home policies. It's kind of hard to build iPhones when you're working from home. It was expected at the time that the lockdown would persist until the 20th of March at the earliest, and yes, Shenzhen is still closed for business. How is Foxconn going around that? Well, apparently by not letting their employees go anywhere. While Shenzhen is still in lockdown, 9 to 5 Mac says government officials have given Foxconn an exemption to resume operations using the closed loop employed by companies in Wuhan when the pandemic began. 9 to 5 Mac says closed loop in this context means that employees live on site in company accommodation and move between housing and factory without leaving the campus. Now, the markets were up across the board on Wednesday, so reopening the Shenzhen facility was probably not the only factor that sent Apple shares up. At the same time, it didn't hurt. A piece from Barron's credits the Foxconn factory with at least some of that rise. The piece had Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives commenting on the reopening. Quoting the Analyst, "This is a shot of much-needed good news in the arm for Apple after some nervous times since the COVID China shutdown. The supply chain needs all the good news it could get, and this averted a mini-disaster for Apple's iPhone production for now." Ives has an outperform rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $200. Also quick with the response was Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani. Of course, he wasn't worried before, and a lot of the note posted Wednesday by Apple 3.0 seriously appears to have been cut and pasted from a note posted a day earlier. We've all done it. Quoting the new part of his note addressing the reopening, Daryanani said, "While we suspect the site is operating at limited capacity, it is important to note, A, The site accounts for a fraction, 20 to 25% of iPhone production. Apple's main production site in Zhengzhou, aka iPhone City, has not been affected. B and C were the cut and pasted parts. B, the shutdown is occurring during a time when seasonal demand is lower, which should mitigate any impact. And C, Foxconn has implemented mitigation plans to shift production to other sites to limit disruption. Darianani has an outperform rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $210. The European Commission is looking to move ahead with the Digital Markets Act, and soon. This one has been out there for a while, and I had to go back to refamiliarize myself with the particulars. I found a write-up I did from a December 2020 edition of macOS Ken. That had the BBC explaining the Digital Markets Act centers on the regulation of gatekeepers, those behind entrenched services that other businesses use to provide their own products. This covers the operators of search engines, social networks, chat apps, cloud computing services, and operating systems, among others. They are likely to include Google, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft. The idea is to prevent the firms gaining unfair advantage via their elevated positions, according to the report. Under the proposed legislation, companies would be required to tell competition regulators of any acquisition plans, not give their own services place of prominence when displaying them and competing services, not use data gathered via their main service to launch a product that will compete with other established businesses, and let users pull pre-installed apps and use other software in its place. Failure to comply would not be pretty. For the Digital Markets Act, the European Commission could issue fines of up to 6% of a company's annual take in Europe. And the BBC said recurrent infringers are warned that they could be made to divest certain businesses where no other equally effective alternative measure is available to ensure compliance. That last part is a threat to break up big tech companies if they can't follow the rules. This legislation has been battered around ever since, though a piece from Apple Insider has Margareta Vestea, competition commissioner for the European Union, saying, "It's time to get this ball rolling." The piece has her indicating that there has been good progress in negotiations. She and hers are hoping to reach a political agreement by the end of this month. Citing a Reuters report, the piece has her saying, "If we manage that, that will be legislation with almost the speed of lightning." Lightning must move differently in Europe. Indications in the piece are that lawmakers want all the I's dotted and the T's crossed by the end of June. More news in a moment, but first a word from Simply Safe, the right way to protect your home. What do U.S. News, PC Magazine, and Popular Science have in common? They've all ranked Simply Safe Home Security as the best home security of 2021. In fact, U.S. News has gone ahead and named Simply Safe the best home security of 2022, and we're just getting into 2022. I like how easy Simply Safe is to set up. Installing my sensors, keypad, and base station took me well under an hour. Now at the other end is the best 24/7 professional monitoring in the business, always ready to send out police, firefighters, or EMTs to your home as soon as they're needed, and all of that for less than $1 a day. I also like that Simply Safe lets you build the system that's right for you. With a comprehensive set of sensors and cameras, including the all-new wireless outdoor security camera, you always know what's going on inside and outside your home. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/macOSKen. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. SIMPLI. Go to simplysafe.com/macOSKen. Apple is teasing its next big store in South Korea. Apple is teasing its biggest store in South Korea. iMore has word of a pre-announcement announcement posted to Apple's South Korea site. Announcing Apple Myeongdong in Seoul, a Google translation has Apple saying,
"The largest Apple store in Korea is coming soon to the heart of Myeongdong, where people from all over the world continue to visit, in the heart of splendid Seoul. Through this store, we aim to provide a source of inspiration that is open to all, where imagination and creativity are constantly springing up. Apple Myeongdong, a place where you and us can communicate and inspire each other. With everyone's sparkling ideas, a brightly shining place awaits you."
I did say it was a machine translation, right? No word on exactly when the store will open, but with Apple teasing it publicly, stands to reason that it's opening soon. When it does, Myeongdong will be Apple's third store in South Korea. And finally today, interested parties got a glimpse of the Essex Serpent on Wednesday. iMore says Apple TV Plus teased the series on Twitter, saying something dark is in the depths. That also had a picture of the show's leads, Claire Danes and Tom Hiddleston. If you've forgotten what this one's about, the piece says the series is based on the best-selling Sarah Perry novel by the same name and follows the widow Cora Seaborn, played by Danes, who moves to Essex following her escape from an abusive marriage. Seaborn is drawn to the small village of Aldwinter in Essex by rumors of a mythical creature known as the Essex Serpent. Hiddleston stars as Will Ransom, the leader of the small local community. The Apple TV Plus tweet also refers to a mysterious Victorian romance between the two. The mystery starts to unravel in a couple of months. The first 2 episodes of the Essex Serpent are scheduled to hit Apple TV Plus on Friday, the 13th of May. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSken. This show is also sponsored by SimpliSafe. Get a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.